are back, episode 16.
16.
We just did the math. Well,
Sweet 16.
Daniel just did the math.
I just looked at the list and counted.
16 episodes of Benchwarmers. We're kind of still in that rut, but not really, though, because training camp is
It's training
here.
camp week.
Yeah, this is a huge week.
NFL's back.
Yeah, and you know the clearest sign that the NFL's back, Jerry Jones taking shots at his two best players. I mean, right off the rip.
Like both feet, left foot, right foot, just jammed him right in his mouth.
Let's get right into it. Like, it got me fired up. Like, actually, the juices started flowing. Like, and I'm sure, like, the executives at ESPN were like, "Thank God, Jerry Jones."
You can set your watch to when Jerry Jones is going to make a stupid comment, and that's pretty much every year at various points of the season, whether it be throwing a coach or a player. But, like, first day, like, bravo.
And credit to Jerry that both times he said the out-of-pocket stuff, neither were a question asked to him.
Unprompted.
First was Schottenheimer. He said, "Oh, let me step in here." And then the second one was Stephen Jones. He said, "Actually."
This was on his mind. He had been wanting to get this off his chest.
Oh, I love it.
He's been stewing him.
And, you know, it's...
Okay.
We can't... Okay, yeah.
Is he wrong?
No, but we were kind of going in the same thing. But, like, he's describing football. We're doing a bad job of podcasting. For our viewers or listeners that didn't see it, Jerry Jones essentially said, when talking about Micah Parsons' contract extension, he essentially said it doesn't matter how many years we sign him for, we probably won't have him for that amount of time because he gets hurt. He missed 6 games last year. He did not. He only missed 4. And then he said, we paid a player the highest paid in that position, and he missed after a third of the year. He got knocked out, Dak Prescott. So basically, and I think J.J. Watt summed it up perfectly on Twitter, you're talking about guys not wanting to pay guys to fight for you that got hurt while fighting for you.
Yeah. There's no clearing this up.
No.
Like, there's no, like, hey, I didn't mean it. It wasn't taken out of context. It was all unprompted. Jerry Jones.
And he doubled down on it. He said it twice.
And we say the best ability is availability. And in his defense, his best players haven't been available. Dak Prescott hasn't been available.
4 games for guys like Micah Parsons is not that bad. I mean, they sucked.
For that specific. Yes, he got the number of games wrong.
If Dak was healthy and they were
But Dak has been unhealthy for the last few seasons.
The Dak thing is
outside of his control.
The Dak thing was kind of the cherry on top, and that's for like us here to get mad about because we support Dak. But like the real thing is the Micah Parsons thing.
Yeah.
Because they are in negotiations with him. And you know, he could just not sign with them.
Right.
And I think that's the crazy part about it is if your team was worth a crap, then I'm sure Micah would have stuck it out.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they were in the hunt, he's playing all those games. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, it also depends because, you know, you want to be available for the postseason.
Right. Whatever.
We're getting into semantics of it. Yeah. But either way, Jerry Jones.
Thank you.
The gift that keeps on giving. He can't get out of his own way.
It's just so right. And that's how you know. We're recording this on Monday when it happened.
Yeah.
Tuesday, ESPN coverage, wall to wall. They're going to be, oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome.
This drops Wednesday morning. There could be 2 more Cowboys controversies by then because Micah may do a podcast from Oxnard.
He already retweeted J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt, so we know how he feels about that. Well, retweets aren't endorsements necessarily.
Everyone's profile.
You know, but yeah, man, training camp is back.
Woo! Yeah.
And you know who also has training camp this week?
The New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints.
And it's going to be, I mean, I'm trying to relive days
Tyler
past.
Shuck, baby.
No.
Shuck and jive.
Hey, look, the Cowboys can't get Micah Parsons signed. Saints got Tyler Shuck lined up.
Come on. Less than $11 million.
Aw, shucks.
Hey.
But I did want to talk about both training camps, obviously, but I do think the Saints camp is going to be interesting, right? Like, I'm actually going to watch preseason.
First-year head coach. No true starting quarterback. A lot of unknowns. What will the defense look like? And
a gold jersey hopefully coming by the time this episode airs.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, let me know. But tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll see.
Hopefully the
gold uniforms. Let's go.
The one criticism I have of the Saints color scheme, I love the black and gold and all that. The helmet gold doesn't match the number jersey gold all the time. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother. No. Like their standard black jerseys with the gold number that gold is darker than the helmet gold. It's very slight.
Is it from
doesn't bother
sledding,
me.
Though?
No.
Okay.
Just It's very slight. Doesn't bother me in a big
that.
thing. But it would be awesome if they kind of matched whatever gold that they go with the gold helmet.
Yeah, now, the gold helmet is more in line with the Color Rush gold, correct?
Because the old school Saints jerseys had that it was like a yellow gold.
Like a mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like a
it doesn't.
Grey Poupon.
I just want it to look good. I don't want it to look hokey. I don't want it to look like awful.
And whatever happened to, and I love the white helmet.
It will be called Pope Gold.
Sure. I love the white helmet. The Color Rush jerseys are awesome. Like, I'm not hating on that.
Yeah.
I love the black on black.
Yeah.
Without the black helmet, that was stupid. Whatever happened to some good old-fashioned white jerseys, gold pants Saints? Man. We have strayed way too far from the light. That is the look. Like, when you think Saints, close your eyes and you imagine Saints. You think of number 9,
the
Drew Brees.
The Super Bowl jersey.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the birthmark on his face, kiss from God on the way out. And he's wearing the white jersey and gold pants.
Right. Well, they've gotten away from the gold pants really entirely. It's either the white pants or the black pants with every jersey combo.
The black jersey, white pants was offensive to football.
Not great.
Like, embarrassing.
Yeah, not great.
Gross. Why? Maybe it looks better with the white helmet. I don't care.
Maybe it looks better in person, one of those things.
Maybe I just need to see white jersey, gold pants. It's not that hard. That's the look.
Yeah.
That's the Saints look. Yeah. And then you go black on black at home, the Dome Patrol.
I kind of want to see a gold jersey, black pant, black helmet combo. Get rid of the weird, odd, middle stripe thing with the fleur-de-lis in it.
You could just get rid of the stripe altogether, and the black helmet's way better. I hated that stripe so much. That stripe.
Not great. Not a great look.
Tease me off.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was jersey talk.
Off early, yeah.
But on this, actually, the team, I wanted to do predictions for both the Saints and Cowboys this year. And we're already on the Saints, so we'll start with the Saints. I'll go first. I think they might be better than we're thinking. I don't know. I've talked to Paul, and he's got me a little more hopeful. They did improve in a lot of areas, most importantly, head coach.
If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance in the NFL.
But what if Spencer Rattler?
Perfect timing. If Spencer Rattler has a Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels-esque jump from a year or two situation, then yeah. But I'm pessimistic about that possibility. If I had to put a record right now, just off the top of my head, 6-11.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I would
say. A win against the Falcons,
a
a win against the Bucks and the Panthers, and
probably
then find some
Jets,
random other wins in there.
Beat the Jets.
They'll
be on their third quarterback.
2 wins against the Falcons, preferably.
Yep.
That's always a good thing. The Saints could go 2-15.
14.
Because 17, yeah.
Wow, 15.
Yeah, so while it would be disappointing, they'd be in line for potentially Arch Manning coming out of the
Yeah, honestly,
Texas,
I think that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
But does Arch come out? I mean, he's going to make bank in college.
I think I said this several podcasts ago. He comes out if Texas goes on a national championship run, wins it, whole Heisman deal, everything, capitalize on it while your iron's hot. But if Texas is middle of the road, gets bounced in the second round of the playoff, want to come back, one more for the Gipper and Matthew McConaughey.
I got one for you. All right.
Yeah.
Would you sacrifice an LSU national title in football this year if it was guaranteed that Texas would win and the Saints would get Arch Manning? But if LSU were to win the national championship and not Texas, then Arch would stay. Would you sacrifice an LSU national championship to have Arch Manning on the Saints?
No.
That sucks. I would.
No.
I mean, I don't.
That's a guaranteed championship. I'll take that. For the possibility that Arch
but the future
on the Saints and potential. I want guaranteed, because then that would be Brian Kelly gets a natty, and that was the last 4 head coaches for LSU have national championships. I'll take it. Saban, Miles, Orgeron, and then Kelly.
Yeah.
I'll take that over a guaranteed win. Give me that.
I'm not an LSU fan, so I won't.
I'll say this: LSU has my heart. The Saints have my soul.
I love that.
But if it comes to a possibility, expectations. Give me a guarantee. I'll take it.
Okay. Love it. All right.
Garrett, we trust. Nuss bus, baby.
I kind of went hopeful.
Yeah.
I do. We're going to do our college football preview another day. But I like LSU a lot this year. We're kind of the same on the Saints, I think. I was trying to be a little more hopeful because I knew it's all doom and gloom and it wouldn't be as fun. But I think 6 wins is the max for them. Unless the miracle happens and Rattler or Shuck. I mean, what if Shuck is like, holy crap, he's incredible? I don't know. Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, on the other hand, I don't know.
Eagles are winning the division.
Yes.
Would be the early speculation defending champs.
Washington, whatever they're going to be named at the time, is going to take a step back. I think we've seen it time and time again with guys that have incredible rookie seasons and those teams that like greatly overachieve. They always take a little step back before they actually get to that consistently good phase.
Yeah.
I think Dallas can be a wild card team. I think they can win 11, 12 games, and I think they could be very scary come playoff time if everyone stays healthy. Jerry Jones.
And that's a story for every team, really.
Yeah.
Health, but Cowboys more so.
They got to have
Cowboys a lot of time. You got to have your quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to have your quarterback. Like
Right.
Cooper Rush only can be a Band-Aid for so
And he was
long.
good. I mean, he's not
against
bad.
the Panthers. You know,
Is he still on the Cowboys?
No, he is not on the Cowboys. I don't want to say where he is because I don't know. We need to say that if you don't know, you don't know. And I don't know where Cooper Rush is, but he's not on the Cowboys anymore.
Where did Cooper Rush go?
While you're thinking of that, I'll have to throw another question at you that I just thought of. If you had to rank the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFC East, how would you rank them? Best quarterback to third best, because we're just going to put the Giants off the board.
Well,
Jameis Winston and
I was going to say my number 1 is on the Giants. Jameis Winston.
Right.
No,
so
okay.
the Giants are off the board.
All right, Giants
Between
are off
the
the
Eagles, Washington Commanders, Redskins football team, and Cowboys, how are we ranking them?
This is an impossible question, and shout out Matt Cooper Rush plays for the Ravens.
Shout out Ravens.
Man,
Yeah. Tough one.
Am I going with my heart or my head?
Why not both?
All right, my heart says it's Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl, so you'd have to say it's Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott.
Heart, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Dak
But,
Prescott. Head, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott.
All right. If you have all 3 of those guys, right? And you're building a team, and you can only pick one of them. But it's not like you're not going to have the running game, the offensive line, everything the Eagles have, and Saquon Barkley. Like he has to be
Blank
the
team,
guy.
Draft guy,
Yes.
number 1 on
Which
the roster.
one do you take? Because I take Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, clearly. And then I take Dak Prescott.
And that's part potential, aspect as well, and what we saw last year.
Right,
like
but then I take Dak Prescott.
Right.
And then I take and like I like Jalen Hurts. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He just outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice now in the Super Bowl. But I mean, I hate how like people get so mad or defensive when you mention that he has good players on his offense. Like I can't remember. Gosh, for
like
the life
it's
of
his
me.
fault.
Right. Well, I can't remember who it was that said this nationally, but you think of all the offensive weapons for the Eagles.
Yeah.
You got to go far down that list to get to Jalen Hurts if you're ranking them.
Yeah.
Right? Those receivers, Saquon, the offensive line, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So it's not that he's, I guess, perception-wise, he's a victim of how good his team is, but also he's I don't know, whatever. I mean, then you could go back to the Nick Foles, and it's crazy, and I don't know. The Eagles are just like perfectly chaotic all the time.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like you would want a team from Philadelphia to be.
Yeah. They got a lot to be happy about. The tush push segment on the ESPYs was hilarious.
No, that was fantastic.
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis, by the way.
And he's right, by the way.
10 out of 10.
All of the
10 out of 10.
teams were soft for trying to
Yes.
blow out that play. Like, sorry, get better. Get good.
What are you doing?
Gitgud. Get
Yeah,
good.
Packers, actually. Those are the...
Yeah.
And
Well, my conspiracy is that Roger Goodell, and I'm basing this off of what Mike Florio said. Roger Goodell was like, "Hey guys, we don't want this play. Go ahead."
And then they can't get
nominate
mad
this."
at a specific owner.
And you're the older franchise, most historic.
Right.
Yeah, no. So.
I will always subscribe to the
Thumbs down.
Florio, universe of thought, I guess would be a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Okay,
a lot of NFL talk, a lot of fun.
Well, that's what I wanted to do today because we're here. It's time, and if you think about it, we're going to have a great opportunity to just rip some NFL.
Yeah.
Every Monday because we'll be fresh off of it.
Yeah.
Saints will have a primetime game. We'll be watching the noon slaughter every day, just ready to get in here. I got
get in, get out. Let's get the highlights in and post for 5.
Get some thoughts off my chest. It's going to be tough. Yeah. But I do think the Bucs win the South, the NFC South, and I think the Eagles win again. I mean, they're just too good, But I do think the Cowboys are going to be way better than people think they're going to be.
Yeah.
And I think
I had a thought on the South. I wouldn't say don't count out the Falcons for some reason in my head.
I don't try.
I think they'll be better.
I'm not a Penix believer, and I am a Falcons hater, but I'm just not a.
Yeah, as you should be. I can separate the two.
Yeah. I do like that he's a lefty. As a lefty, I got to stand strong.
Always looks good when the pass goes out there. Shout out to Michael Vick, also a former lefty.
Yep,
a lefty.
Former lefty.
He's not ambidextrous.
He gave it up.
He's not ambidextrous. But I think the Cowboys, rather than a record, I mean, I can go all 10-7. The NFC East is tough.
Yeah.
If I had to ballpark at 10-7 right now, I think they finish.
They're making the NFC Championship. I'll say it. They're going to make it to the NFC
Maybe Washington has a drop because you had the amount of wins that Washington had that were just insane and crazy.
No, Washington.
I think the Cowboys finish second in the division behind the Eagles
and make the playoffs.
The playoffs a wild card.
That's what I think too. Yeah. And I think they make the NFC Championship.
They would have to make it by the wild card because they didn't win the division. So that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Well, no, because you can finish second in your division and not make the wild card.
Well, if you don't win
that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Because shout out
records and
tiebreakers
and.
Beastquake in Seattle and all that fun stuff. Yeah, sorry about that. It really brought it down there.
Hey, look at that shirt. That's an awesome shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex is wearing, for the audio listeners, Alex is wearing a Super Bowl 44
Shut up, Matt.
Saints champions. Nice gray one. By the way, I have that shirt, but I can't wear it anymore because it's a 2X and I've lost 60 pounds since when I did that. But it's still going to be in the cabinet forever.
Just wash it a couple times, get some shrinkage.
I want to keep the color preserved, so 60 years from now when we're talking about that one Saints Super Bowl title, it's just gonna be like, hey, look at this, look at this one happy moment.
See, in my life when Texas beats LSU in the playoff, and Arch Manning is a Saint, and Arch he fulfills the prophecy of the Manning family in New Orleans and wins multiple Super Bowls. He has to win 3. So he'll be the greatest Manning of all time, surpassing Eli and Peyton, all in the black and gold. It is going to be incredible.
If he wins 1 in New Orleans, he'd be the best Manning of all time.
Yes.
One Super Bowl title in your grandfather's and your uncle's, and obviously your dad's hometown.
You're rethinking my proposal a little bit.
Throwing a Heisman in there too, then
Love it. Yeah. All right, guys, let's go to our interview. It's Doug Ireland. We mentioned it in the interview, man that wears many, many hats, but specifically, this version of Doug would be the Southern Classic Chicken Friday Football Fever edition of Doug with the National Football Foundation. So let's go to Doug Ireland. I guess what we're going to make a yearly tradition now, the friend portion of the Benchwarmers. We're having all of our buddies on, and we love this guy, Doug Ireland, with us here.
Dougie Fresh.
Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, National Football Foundation, the Shreveport-Bossier Journal, right? Am I getting that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Shreveport-Bossier Journal, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, Northwestern
State former Sports Information Director, all of it.
Yeah, the man who wears many hats, but like I said, a good friend of ours, Doug Ireland. And we're getting ready for football season, Doug. I wanted to talk about the Griffins Player of the Year and all that stuff with the foundation. I assume you guys are getting ready to get your scholar athlete list together right now.
Absolutely, that's high on the priority list. We're going to be reaching out to coaches around the 318 area code for the next 4 weeks, really asking them to nominate deserving senior scholar athletes who have at least a 3.2 grade point average for the preseason watch list, so we can start making people aware of the really quality young men who put on helmets and play on Friday nights around the Arklatex.
And if a coach maybe misses that email or misses that text, I'm guilty of that. How do they get a hold of you and make sure that their guys are candidates for that list?
It's pretty simple. We've got a Facebook page, the Football Foundation's Facebook page, the McNaughton chapter. But, my cell phone number is well known to many, so there's no reason not to put it out here. 318, of course, 471-2086. Skill position numbers.
I love it. And if you start getting a lot of random calls, let me know, because I'd be surprised that we had some listeners that
Right.
were going to give you a call. That'd be great. I see you were.
I'll take any call I can get, and that's the thing too. If it's a parent, it's a grandparent says, "Hey, my kid deserves to be nominated," I'll just happily talk to them and say, "Hey, just talk to your coach, get them to reach out to me." It's very simple, very simple.
And obviously, we'll talk about this more. I'm sure we'll have you penciled in to our first Friday Football Fever show, as we always have you on. But just to let our listeners who maybe aren't familiar know, we will then select from this watch list of scholar athletes. That's where we get our Griffins Players of the Week. We whittle it down to the end. We have a Griffins Player of the Year. We hop on with the National Football Foundation at their banquet, and it is really an awesome time. And I did want to ask you, Doug, why is working with the foundation so important to you, and highlighting these athletes and all they do? I mean, you are the most busy retired person I've ever met, but why do you keep doing it year in and year out?
Well, first of all, it's to recognize these outstanding young men who we get the spotlight. But I'm inspired by Orvis Ziegler, by Tony Sardisco, by my dear friend, departed friend Leo Sanford, and Tony Gooden, and people who have been involved with the Football Foundation for decades. And it is truly an altruistic organization that exists strictly to honor these outstanding young men and to reward them with some scholarship money at the end of the year. How can you not be supportive of that? And once you've been to the event and get to experience 8, 9 young men, hearing them speak, hearing their stories, it's really renews your faith in what you're seeing out there. We hear so many discouraging stories. It's just the nature of news and the nature of culture. But there are so many great stories, and that's why I love the fact that you guys spotlight these guys for 14 straight weeks. Daniel does a fabulous job telling these stories, and every year there are things that we find out through the Tuesday night Griffin's Game Ball segment that is so remarkable. And of course, there you have it, Bob Griffin. I mean, he didn't keep working until he was gone because he needed to. He kept working because he wanted to. And he took such great pride for years and years and years to shining a light on the good things about the Arklatex, and particularly the good young people and the purity when at its best form of high school football and high school sports.
Well, Doug, I'll take the compliment on the stories for the Griffins Player of the Week, but I'll also say you do a wonderful job with the National Football Foundation and also the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. That is a year-long effort, it seems like, for an awesome week of celebration there in Natchitoches. You just wrapped up the class of 2025, a couple of weeks to reflect on it now. How awesome was that weekend, and how much effort does it go in from the collective of the entire board and chairpersons and volunteers for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame to put on an event like that?
Yeah, the number is literally in the hundreds of people who play some role, some an extremely significant role as volunteers to make sure that, in essence, we're hosting 12 family reunions every year. Some are from the neighborhood. Vicki Johnson's people came from Coshada. Vicki lives in Atlanta, Georgia now. Some are like Nick Saban. He's from Tuscaloosa now, but has deep feelings about his Louisiana experience. Andrew Whitworth, was a Louisiana guy through and through, and then went to pro football and uprooted, was in Cincinnati for 16 years, and then is permanently out in LA now with his family. Those people don't get to come back home as often as they'd like. This is an opportunity for them to do that. And for Danny Broussard, Wilbert Ellis the year before, they're from 90 minutes, 2 hours away, and Grambling for Coach Ellis and Lafayette for Danny Broussard. But it is a chance to celebrate with the people that they love and who love them. And it's a big celebration. It's not like, and Leon Barmore told me this years ago. He says, Springfield and the Basketball Hall of Fame is an incredible honor, but you only have a few people with you who you know. And here with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, anybody and everybody can come. You can be there for the induction ceremony, but you can also be there for the concert. You can be there for the kids clinic. You can be there for the bowling. You can be there for the kickoff reception in the museum, see the museum free of charge, and mingle with these folks. That's the beauty of our event, and that's why we have so many people willing to help. It's because we're hospitable people in Louisiana, and particularly in Natchitoches, where the founders of this community back 3+ centuries ago, as far as the European people. And really, if you go back tens of thousands of years with the Native Americans, this was a trading post. This was where people came from outside, visitors came to trade their wares. So, what do you say when you got a visitor and you're trying to do business with them? You be nice to them. And so, it's in this community's DNA. And you guys know, you've traveled and anybody traveled. Louisiana has a hospitality gene that is at the top of the scale. And so when we throw a party, when we throw a celebration, it's just going to be better than most anybody else's. And this is another example of that. And I'm proud to be associated with it. It's a thrill and a privilege. And people say, why do you keep doing it? And because it just is wonderful every year. And you're right, Daniel, this year's class, what a group of people. What a fabulous collection of highly accomplished folks who are just super nice people, too.
And Doug, I mean, it's a wonderful museum. We always talk about it all the time. I throw enough plugs out there for it. It also functions as the Northwest Louisiana Hall of Fame, Northwest Louisiana Natural History Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame Museum. I'm botching the description here. It's awesome artifacts there. You mentioned about the history, the thousands of years that are there. Is there any exhibit on whether it's the sports side or the natural history side that stands out to you that you enjoy the most?
Oh, my Lord. There's 27,000 square feet of them. And, I'm a history buff. I love history. So I still find myself wandering around upstairs in the history, Northwest Louisiana history part of it. Yes, there's a wonderful film that talks about Captain Shreve and what he did to clear the Red River. Fascinating. And there's so much culture, and it does go back literally tens of thousands of years with the Native American population to the folks who settled this region, at the beginning of time as we know it. So I love that. But as far as the Sports Hall of Fame, 2/3 of the museum that is sports, golly, picking one that's very, 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 very tough. I guess I'm going to go with the Heisman exhibit.
Yep.
Because it's new, relatively speaking, a couple of years old, and we have some unique pieces in there from Louisiana's Heisman Trophy winners. Having and I didn't know Devontae Smith with the Eagles in Alabama, but boy, his parents are delightful people. When we opened this thing up, we had a nice event, and they came up from a meet, and just charming, charming people. Joe Burrow, of course, and but the coolest thing are two items that the Crow family, John David Crow from Spring Hill, donated. One is a scrapbook, a personal scrapbook that the Crow family had going all the way back to his days when Spring Hill would play Bird and Fair Park and those kind of rivalries in the 50s. And then it takes you through his college career a little bit of pro, but it's personally constructed. And then there's a huge photograph that we have framed that was in the family, one of the daughters' homes in Dallas. It's a picture of John David and his parents backstage at the Heisman ceremony. Then back in that day, it was a dinner, and it was a lot different than what you see on TV now. John David didn't even want to go to New York. He wasn't. He didn't quite get what this was, and so they went and had a fabulous time. And this is in backstage as his mother's reaching over and kissing him on the cheek. It's a personal moment that nobody else would have seen had the family not provided this, so everybody could come see it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. The Heisman exhibit is so cool. And,
Yeah.
that picture, well, you showed it to us on our tour. It was just awesome to, like you said, something that no one would ever have gotten to see if it wasn't for the family donating it. I was going to ask for you, in your younger years, did you always love history? Were you just a whiz kid in history class growing up through school, or was there a moment that clicked for you where you're like, wow, I really love researching this stuff and learning about it?
No, I would say I was imbued with it at an early age. When we lived in Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia, it's a half hour east of Appomattox and an hour south of Monticello. And I'm 3, 4, 5 years old, and my parents are taking me and my little brother to see Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home, which was fascinating for even a little kid because of all the inventive stuff that Jefferson did. And Appomattox, I just knew enough to know that it was a really big deal, and the history got explained to me. That was fascinating. Sports, that started for me in the front yard in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, actually in a crib in New Kensington when I was 9 months old, and the Pittsburgh Pirates won the 1960 World Series. And I'm told I was watching. We were just 6 miles away from Forbes Field, but we watched it on TV. And the Buccos won on Mazeroski's home run to beat the Yankees in the bottom of the ninth. Arguably the greatest finish to a World Series ever. And then not long after that, we got home movies of Mother Ireland throwing me batting practice with a wiffle ball. Um, it was kind of tough. She had a pretty good fastball. I finally caught up with it when I was 16.
There you go.
Well, I see the Pittsburgh shirt on. How near and dear are the Pirates to you, and sporting the colors, and how dialed in are you on each game, and how often are you able to follow them?
Well, first of all, let's not overlook.
All right.
Yep.
Terrible towel. Okay. Yeah, got to flip it. There we go.
Yep. It is kind of upside down appropriately right now.
Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah. We're just trying to figure things out in Pittsburgh. We had the 70s when I was a young boy, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. What a decade to be a Pittsburgh sports fan. And my parents are from Butler, Pennsylvania, which is just 30 miles north of Pittsburgh. You heard of it last summer. I like to think of it as where the Jeep was invented. But from my early days, the Pirates game was on the radio. We didn't care about the Steelers. The family didn't. Nobody in Pennsylvania, before I was 10, 11, 12 years old, cared about the Steelers. They were terrible. Then we moved to Louisiana in 1967. Had a quarterback up the road 20 miles from Jonesboro at Louisiana Tech named Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm local team. I'm kind of cheering for Terry and the Bulldogs. And then he gets drafted by the Steelers. And I said, interesting. Doesn't really move the needle much. But then they draft Mean Joe Green, Mel Blount, Jack Ham, Andy Russell. The rest, Mike Webster, the rest is history. Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer, you go on down. And their backup quarterback, by the way, was a guy from Butler, Terry Hanratty, great quarterback for Notre Dame. So there was some interest there. And then, there's lots of Steeler fans around Louisiana because of Terry and the other Steelers. Sidney Thornton, a former Demon, who was a fullback for him for 4 years. Lots of Steeler fans in this area, but the Pirates, I remember Bob Veal and Matty Alou and Don Clendenin, those guys in the 60s. And then when you get to Clemente, one of the greatest players ever, one of the greatest humans ever to take the field, Stargell, that gang, just fabulous time. And it's been mostly fun since, even through the 22 consecutive non-winning seasons, and even during this absolute disaster that's going on now. But man, he's the cornerstone if they'll just build around him.
Yep, that's it. And I know a lot of Louisiana Pirates probably gained a lot of Louisiana fans with Paul Skeens, and hopefully they can figure it out around him. And you mentioned Northwestern State a little bit, and obviously a place that's so near and dear to your heart. How long were you the SID, or how long did you work there? I mean, it had to be a lot.
A lot is probably the best description. I went to school there, worked in the sports information office as a student. That was when Joe was playing Bobby Hebert.
Right.
Those kind of guys, Gary Reasons, those are the headline guys, and so many other wonderful folks. David, a lot of Houghton boys, by the way. David Grapp, Sonny Lewis. I'm going to leave some off, but they were a lot of Houghton Bucks, a lot of Shreveport-Bossier guys, Eric Barkley, Stan Powell, so many others. But it was really 4 years in college and then 30 years as the SID from 1989 to 2019. Wow. And now I'm back in a part-time role helping our new president, Jimmy Genovese, and that's been total fun as our university has a renaissance. under dynamic leadership. So, it is a love. It is a passion. And in fact, one of the things I've been doing the last few days is coordinating our in-club Hall of Fame election.
Yeah.
We've got a Zoom call tonight to confirm the voting results and pick, finalize the class. Meanwhile, Hall of Fame front, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, we're also getting ready to kick off our selection process for 2026 in August.
Yeah, like I said, busiest retired guy ever.
Yeah.
You talk about the Demon football team with Coach McCorkle heading into another year. Obviously, the first year didn't go exactly as planned, but obviously it takes some time to build there. What have you seen from the Demons on the football field? I know they're getting ready to start fall camp, and how much has Coach McCorkle already kind of changed the vibe around Natchitoches?
Yeah, he was the perfect fit at the exact time that we had to have a transformational leader. The program was on the shelf after the tragedy in, I believe it was 2023, October. And Blaine came in having rebuilt a program from scratch at Belhaven. Not to cast aspersions on anybody, but he followed Hal Mumme, and we'll just say that Coach Mumme's reign at Belhaven was not good. And it's not just the win-loss record either.
Oh,
yeah. Great offensive mind. Hope it works out for Centenary. Have my doubts, but hope it works out for Centenary. However, Blaine came in there, and in the first 3 years, built the foundation. The last 3 years, they won big, really big. And he's really patient. You say last year didn't go like we hoped on the football field. Well, actually, it didn't go like we hoped, but it did go like Blaine kind of felt like it would. He hoped that they could sneak out a win or two, and that's an appropriate phrase to use with how they did not win against Prairie View when the last play of the game, they're sneaking the ball over from the 1 yard line, and they've got a picture with football over the goal line, but the official was blocked out. The replay official didn't see it, and so the Demons lose by a point to Prairie, but not by about 5 or 6, or otherwise they'd have kicked the field goal. But they competed throughout the season, and they went through the transition process. As Blaine said this morning at the Southland Media Days, and I'm sure y'all probably use a bite this evening on the cast. He said, last year there were guys in our room who I really didn't have a good feeling about. They weren't all in. They weren't here buying into what we wanted, which was be a good person, be a good student, be a good football player, be a great teammate. And he says, this year I like these guys. He says, every one of them. He says, I dropped my kid off at Natchitoches Central with Coach Laird, who he loves, Brad Laird. Brad's been wonderful helping with the transition. I dropped Sam, his sophomore-to-be son, 265-pound sophomore, by the way.
Wow.
Look out in District 1-5A in a couple of years. But he says, I dropped Sam off, and I'm rushing to get to the field house to be around these kids. And that's the core of success. You build around. I read a book a long time ago by Bear Bryant and John Underwood, and Bear Bryant said, surround yourself with good people. And that is what Blaine McCorkle is definitely doing here at Northwestern.
Absolutely, and we wish him nothing but the best. But I did want to ask you, with all your experience as an SID, this is kind of something that Daniel and I laugh about all the time, and you were very good at it. You got to be positive, right, as the school's SID. So you got a game, regardless of sport, your team takes a bad loss. How do you find those positive spins? It'll say, Demons show great heart and lose by 40. How do you find that spin to make it so it's not all doom and gloom?
Yeah, and I give Jason Pugh, my successor, an Airline High School graduate, proud native of Bossier City, tremendous credit because he's been through that this last year and a couple of years before. Right now Northwestern's got the longest losing streak in Division I football, and as Blaine said, look, we don't shrink from that. We don't embrace it, but we acknowledge it and we use it to motivate ourselves. And Jason has had to turn out press release after press release and positive messaging in the social media. And what you do is, of course, the games are the games. What happens on the field is what happens on the field. You tell that story. We always have laughed about colleagues elsewhere in our sports industry, information industry, who would the conventional story lead would be uh, Johnny Johnson had 23 points and 10 rebounds Saturday night, but school lost 83 to 53 to school.
Yes.
No, no, the so and so for the other school played well, and you need to acknowledge that. It's interesting. Some schools won't even acknowledge players from the other team.
Yeah.
That's ludicrous. Those kids are out there busting it too, and you tell the story what happened, but you find there is always rays of sunshine in any performance. It's like Sam Burns this weekend. I guarantee you, Sam didn't go over there thinking, "Hey, I can make the cut. Hey, I can bring home $51,000." Hey, he came over there. He was a stroke off the lead last year going to the final round of the British Open. So and he was in the lead with 3 holes to go a month ago at the U.S. Open. You know what Sam Burns was over there to do, but it didn't work out. His game wasn't what it needed to be around the green and on the green. He was 106th in putting this week. He's number 1 on the PGA Tour. Now, what did he do well? He was 6th in accuracy to the greens. He was 17th in driving. So you acknowledge the strong points while accepting the shortcomings.
I told you he was
Leave it to an SID to just have the stats on hand and get that knowledge, that punch there. Love it, Doug.
Yeah.
So while keeping it on the Northwestern vein, not positive overall right now in terms of athletic success, but in your career.
Whoa. Don't transfer football to the rest of the athletic program.
Yeah.
There's a lot of success going on in the athletic program at Northwestern.
Baseball's done well.
Please correct me.
Baseball had a good year.
In terms of, yes, I'll just leave it.
Everybody likes to point to 13-3 at Alec Box Stadium.
Yeah.
Demons over the Tigers.
I mean, they have a heck of a relief pitcher.
Yes.
Austin Anderson coming out of the bullpen. I mean,
they
unbelievable.
Do.
Yes. No. Thank you for the correction. But the question being, in your time as the SID, which win or championship moment stands out the most to you?
There's a highlight reel in my head right now. It's impossible not to start with Jermaine Wallace from the corner, 3-pointer, half-second left to beat Iowa in the 2006 NCAA tournament. That's one that not only lives forever at Northwestern, but lives forever in March Madness history. You see that again and again and again, March after March after March is one of the great comebacks from 17 down with 8 minutes left, and one of the great dramatic finishes in tournament history. Vern Lundquist, who's called a game or two in the NCAA tournament, said aside from Duke and Kentucky and the Leitner shot, our game was his favorite game he ever called.
Love it.
In college basketball. That's pretty strong, But, so many highlights. Beating TCU in Fort Worth in 2001, right after 9/11. We took a week off and went back on the field, and TCU had just gone to a bowl game and was going to go to another bowl game that year. And Craig Nall and my big guy from Captain Shreve, the tailback, Jeremy Lofton, were key figures in the Demons' win that night. That's a great one. Mike Green of Ruston coming from on the last leg of the 4x4 relay at the conference championship track meet. Mike was not our fastest quarter miler, but Coach Leon Johnson said he was our best competitor. And he held off a faster guy from Sam Houston so the Demons would win the conference championship. Things like that, you just don't forget. The chance to play really the first college basketball game at what is now Brookshire Grocery Arena against Elena Beard and Duke, with several Shreveport-Bossier girls, including Kuda Dobbin from Evangel on the Lady Demon team that went to the NCAA tournament. And ironically, 3 months later, had to go to Duke for the NCAA tournament. And the funny note about that, Elena's family's from Natchitoches Parish, so she was very pleased. And Coach Smith here, Coach Gust Coors, I think was her name there at Duke, they were really pleased to make this happen in Shreveport so she could play at home. Well, they beat us, I think it was 103-54 at the Brookshire's Grocery Arena, then the CenturyTel Center. So we go to the NCAAs in Duke, and Rebecca Lobo is doing the color on ESPN. I think that one ended maybe 103-50 or something. It was to the point, the same margin. So Coach Smith walks in the postgame press conference and says, well, I guess Duke's 51 points better now.
That is awesome. And, just every time we get a chance to talk to you, Doug, I have the same question. I never ask it. Did you ever try to get on Sports Jeopardy back when they were doing it? Because I feel like you'd have a strong chance at a Sports Jeopardy format, something like that.
I've got a friend, Eric Held. He's now the LSU High School recruiting director for football. He was for a long time with the High School Athletic Association. And earlier years, he was the head football coach at St. Mary's. And Eric was on that show. And Eric is really, really good. I've got my neighborhoods.
Right.
But I might fare okay, but I'm not a savant when it comes to sports history. But I'm fairly familiar with things that have happened within my arm's reach.
Well, if I ever find myself on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and we've got a Louisiana sports question, my phone a friend is Doug Ireland 100% of the time.
Definitely. So, Doug, sorry, are you about to make a point?
No, I'm game for that. And what I've also this last 3 years with the Shreveport-Bossier Journal and getting to cover high school football in Shreveport-Bossier has kind of been a revelation to me, because for 30 years at Northwestern, I kept an eye on it, and certainly I knew who the good players and teams and coaches were, and watched you guys on Friday nights and read what I could and tracked it, and had friends who were coaching and friends who had kids who were playing. But it has been a joy over these last 3 years, rather. Get my time period right. I'm old. To be on the sidelines and see the wonderful competition and that perspective, and seeing history like we did last year in that incredible Shreve Evangel game, national records, not just Pop Houston's yardage, but total yardage by both teams, and just several records. Yeah, that's been fun, and so you continue to expand your experiential knowledge.
Yeah, and it's been fun for us too to see you out on the sidelines. It's such a nice treat. You go to a game and there's Doug. I mean, something like you said, we didn't see for the first 10 years or whatever that we've been doing this. So it's been nice to have you, and I think the high school football fans in our area are fortunate to be able to get your perspective in the Journal. It's been very nice to have it.
Yeah. John James Marshall and Matt Vines and so many other people. We had Roy working with us until the Advocate came into being, and I love. In fact, every week when I come up I-49 to go into a game, I'm calling Lang and saying, "Okay, where you at?" Yeah. hoping that we're at the same game, because it's just fun to be with the gang on the sidelines, and fun to experience high school football in Shreveport-Bossier, and as Bob Griffin would say, the Architects. In fact, I am proud to say that I spent the last Friday night of Bob Griffin's career with him on the sideline at a state semifinal game at Manny the year before he passed the next February. And y'all, the adoration that the crowd had for him, it was palpable. It was real. Manny, you guys have both been there. Of course, the fireworks, everybody knows before the game. Well, playoff time, they've got people sitting in chairs on the track and standing and this and that. So it's overflowed, and you can hear them whisper, "That's Bob Griffin."
Yeah.
And he was so charming with everybody. But I was a little conscious of being sure that he didn't get turfed.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be right close to the action.
Bob was in it.
And Jess Curtis. There were 2 times that I can remember during the game where Jess turns over to Griffin and says, "Mr. Griffin, you like that?"
That does not surprise me at all.
That sounds exactly like it.
And I know I used to. That was the thing I would stress out most on Friday nights. It wasn't the show. It wasn't anything else. It was if I see a picture of Bob on the sidelines, or if I'm at the same game as Bob. Like you said, he is pushing that line as close as he could be. He's got his notepad out. He's looking down, looking up, looking down.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to stress so hard about him
keep Bob safe was the goal.
Because he didn't listen.
No.
I mean, he was as stubborn as anyone. So,
But what I saw on that Friday night was experience matters. He knew he was never really in danger. I just thought he might be a couple of times.
Exactly.
He knew how to dodge, that's for sure.
Well, we definitely look forward to seeing you on the sidelines again this year. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up with our "What are we doing?" questions. It's not all just information, sports information, writing the story, getting the picture of the game. What are you doing in terms of watching TV or a favorite show? What are you listening to in terms of music? And then what are your favorite foods to eat or favorite dish that's your kind of go-to meal?
Wow. Okay. Now, so you've asked 3 complex questions all in one.
Yep.
So let's break them up and start with what? You pick the topic.
Let's start off with what are we watching?
Okay, TBS Sports.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is absolutely true. I DVR every Shreveport-Bossier television sportscast or every newscast, and I enjoy watching all the local news. But what you guys do is truly top of the line, and it's fun to watch every night. Really appreciate that. It's interesting. I've just moved into a new home, and I was a direct TV customer for years. Now I'm streaming, and there's a whole nother world out there with Apple TV and all the different streaming. I've been Amazon Prime since they started Thursday Night Football. There's some really good programs out there. One of my weaknesses, though, is Saturday nights I'll watch Daniel, and then I'm going to watch The Rookie.
Yeah. Right after.
Yeah.
Bleeds right into it.
It's going to be that way,
Yeah. My fiance actually loves The Rookie as well, so maybe one day when y'all meet, y'all can talk about your favorite episodes and characters and things like that.
She'll probably talk about Nathan Fillion. I'll not talk. I'll talk about his various girlfriends.
Love it. So once you're watching The Rookie, maybe have a meal on the side. What's in front of you on the dinner tray, or a meal that's like, okay, this is what I'm having. No health repercussions. Something I could eat every day of the week and every day, every month, every year.
Well, I'm in Natchitoches. You have to say a Natchitoches meat pie.
Come on.
Whether French Market or Lazione's or wherever, the meat pies down here, world renowned. But I'm very much a Louisiana food guy. I've got some etouffee frozen in the fridge right now. That sort of stuff. We have such great food in Louisiana, and in Natchitoches, it's really unique in that all the restaurants are local.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have we have a chain. We have Burger King and that sort of thing, Popeyes, and they have their place, but we have some great local restaurants. But you basically, other than Cajun Louisiana food, you throw a good steak, salmon at me, and a drive-through vodka freeze from Maggio's Packaged Liquor.
Yeah. That's
right.
what I'm talking about. Patrick actually was in Natchitoches, Patrick Dennis, not that long ago, and he was nice enough to save me half of a meat pie. Mm-hmm. So that was a great treat.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Oprah. Now, Oprah, there was another. Oprah came to Natchitoches in 2002. I don't know if you know the story or not, and we won't go into it here because I know there may be some time constraint. I don't think these things can last 90 minutes or so.
Well, I got a 3 o'clock show. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but Oprah essentially came to Natchitoches because a guest at her show in Chicago was named Peggy Plunkett from Natchitoches. And after the show, Peggy stands up and says, "Oprah, I do declare everyone in Natchitoches, Louisiana loves Oprah." And it goes further than that, but Oprah was taken with Peggy Plunkett, and she goes backstage after and tells her producer, "I want Peggy Plunkett." And they set up a scheme where they called Peggy's best friend and convinced her that she had to be home on a Friday afternoon. Mm-hmm. Didn't tell her why. Said, friends are coming in. Well, the friend was Oprah.
Wow.
And Oprah's dream flies into Natchitoches with her crew.
Wow.
Homecoming weekend. Oprah winds up leading the homecoming parade, leading the pep rally. But along the way, Peggy took her down Front Street, and she's going in the shops and looking and meeting people. Two really cool things happen there. One, she walks into a store, and there's a radio sales lady who had worked with Oprah back in Baltimore 20 years before when they were both getting started. And Oprah looks at her and says, "Don't tell me. I know you. I got to figure out where from." And after about 20 seconds, she says, "I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but we worked together in Baltimore." Mm-hmm. That was cool.
Wow.
So she walks out of there. She walks past Exchange Bank and Trust. And my friend Joe Henry at that point in time was the vice president. And by this time, they've got the camera crew, of course, following. Caroline, the radio person, has called the radio station. She's walking behind them. They're broadcasting live. People are aware now that Oprah's in town. Joe walks out and says, "Oprah, I'm Joe Henry with Exchange Bank and Trust. Welcome to Natchitoches." She says, "Well, thank you, Joe. Oprah, we're the oldest financial institution in the state of Louisiana, dating back to 1854. And that's true." And she says, "Joe, the oldest in Louisiana? You must have a lot of money in there." Joe didn't miss a beat. He says, "But we still have room for yours."
Heck yeah. Never stop doing business.
That was the most Natchitoches story I've ever heard. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So they go around the corner to Merci Beaucoup, and they get the Cajun baked potato, which has a big shrimp in the middle of it and etouffee all over it. Oprah ate half of it, said, "Peggy, save this for me in your fridge." Peggy kept it for the next 5 or 6 years.
That's awesome. That sounds delicious. I might need to go ahead and get one of those.
Yeah. Merci Beaucoup, the Cajun baked potato. You got to get that.
All right. On the last kind of what are we doing questions, on those road trips from Natchitoches to Shreveport or wherever you're going, Manny, on Friday nights, what are you listening to, your go-to album or podcast that you got to pass the time or kind of give you that comfort?
No, wait a minute. There are other podcasts other than the Benchwarmers?
Yeah, I've never heard of any.
Yeah, not familiar.
Okay. Well, if you say so. I'm pretty much a very wide open musical guy. 70s music, No Shoes Radio with Chesney. Those are two favorites of mine. I've got Sirius XM and really enjoy the variety there. I got that because when you travel in Texas as much as I used to, there's places in Texas where you can't get a radio signal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always get a satellite signal.
Oh yeah, that's we drove to Oklahoma City to visit my father-in-law a month or so back, and plenty of stretches of road where it is nothing.
Static.
Yeah, that's why you got to download. Thankfully, I didn't know this. Spotify keeps an emergency offline playlist based on everything you listen to. It was incredible. It got us through the whole way. I couldn't believe it. It just popped up. Would you like to try it? I was like, yep. And sure enough, it worked. Doug, we could talk for another hour. We love you, man. I got to get ready for my 3 o'clock. They're going to be beating on this door anytime. It's almost.
You don't wing that? I thought you just kind of did that off the cuff.
Man. Oh, I'm definitely going to do it off the cuff, but I got to put makeup on and all that. So don't worry about that. It's always off the cuff. That's just the way it rocks. But you're the best, Doug. We thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Benchwarmers, and we'll get you on again for sure. We'll definitely have you on Friday Football Fever Week 1, which is almost a month away.
Flying by.
Look, I'm just honored to have followed Roy Lang.
Oh, yeah. Two. I mean, we've
in that neighborhood, you're in a good neighborhood.
I mean, we've had some. Think about it. Go from Tatum, Paul, Roy, Doug.
Yeah. Oh, love that show.
We're doing all right now. We got some.
Three heavy hitters. Love it
for sure. And next week, well, I won't spoil who we got next week, but I do have it confirmed. What we were talking about last week.
All right. We'll keep it a surprise.
Yeah. So, Doug, thank you so much, man. We'll chat with you soon.
My pleasure, guys. Fork 'em.
All right, Doug is Dougie Fresh, one of the best, man.
Dougie Fresh, love him. Appreciate the correction on the other success that Northwestern State Athletics has had. Shout out to the baseball team, getting that win in Baton Rouge.
That fire in his eye was
track
awesome.
and field, always success.
I was like, I'm going to step away from this
one. Yeah. And yes, the football success hasn't been there, but it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm a believer that they're going to get a win this year. They're going to snap the losing streak. Hadn't got a win since 23 of November.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
No. 22 of November. So, Doug, the Demons.
Fork 'em.
Got that. A lot of Northwestern State alum here. Savannah Stevens are one of our vans. Madeline DuPont does everything
one of the
around
goats
here.
of KTBS.
Stephanie Samuels.
Yep.
News director.
In SU.
Northwestern State. So we love the Demons.
And my
here.
sister. That doesn't really count, but we're in there. So yeah, we do love the Demons. We also love to check out our socks.
Yeah.
And Daniel's got the Dragon Balls.
Dragon Balls, all
OG.
7.
I figured I'd go.
Man.
I figured I'd start my week on Monday wearing items of the 2 parts of my life that disappoint me most.
Yeah.
So we got Saints here, and we got Sabres here. Nothing's happened on the Sabres front. So I mean, the shoes with the socks. Shout out to Kim Anderson. That is a tough look right there.
Yeah. Those are clean.
Yeah, but I'm gonna. I'm feeling better about the Sabres. I won't get into it, but
yeah. I gotta mention this. In the course of the discussion with Doug when he was talking about longest streaks of not having a playoff series win with the Pirates, I was like, y'all kind of have a kinship in terms of the Sabres and Pirates. So I guess the Pirates have made a wild card, but they hadn't won the series.
Right.
So they have like a playoff appearance. So that's kind of why
the Sabres haven't
that carve out there.
Yeah, the Sabres and Jets.
Right.
Just haven't been there 14 years. That ends this year. Just what? Wait and see. Probably not.
So
okay.
It wasn't a shot. But it was more of an acknowledgement. You'll have a kinship of long-suffering.
You know, misery loves company, and Doug often. And I meant to talk about this. Just time gets away. But Doug always laughs at me like mid-October, and we're at the same game, and he's watching me on the sidelines, and I'm like, and he's like, what?
Sabres.
And I've got the Sabres in my ear, and I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, you really are sweating out NHL points in October? I'm like, well. Yeah. Because I'm gonna never,
every point counts.
Yes, you know how it goes.
It's an experience, and we share that. Like I'll be watching a random Arsenal game, and I may not know the full roster, or even the Yankees. I didn't even know Jazz Chisholm.
There it is.
Was the getting tongue tied there? Was in the home run.
Neither
derby.
did he.
Neither did he. Didn't show up. Had the Demon Slayer bat and destroy the brand.
Yeah, Sarah Arvam. I was like, there's this guy's has a Demon Slayer bat. She was like, oh, I hope he does awesome.
And then so hey, Jazz, get him next time.
Okay. Before we close,
put Aaron Judge in the home run derby.
Yeah, we need that too. And LeBron in the dunk contest. So. I don't have a ticked off, so to speak.
I kind of have a ticked off, but if you're fired up.
You go ticked off first. I have a different thing.
Very minor, watching the replay of Scottie Scheffler winning the Open Championship, the British Open of yesteryear. When he's teeing off, for some reason, the NBC directors decide to take a putt from Rory McIlroy, have an announcer talking over it, and they split screen the announcer guy, now at the tee box from the United States. Like, this is an American leading the last major of the year. Take him full screen.
Yeah.
Y'all replay clips the entire time of, this moments ago. Show moments ago for Rory. A mistake in the moment, I get it. Whatever, guy from Northern Ireland, the tournament is in Northern Ireland. This is America. You're NBC. Show Scottie Scheffler full screen. Get the United States. I don't know. I lost it for I was irrationally angry. I'm irrationally angry now about it. It's not that big of a deal because it was an honest mistake. Broadcasters make mistakes. Directors make mistakes.
Continue. I'm laughing at something different.
Come on.
I thought you were talking about when the person farted when he hit earlier in the tournament. I was like,
no, thumbs up to that guy.
I was like,
thumbs up to that. No.
Daniel, an opponent of flatulence.
Flatulence is always funny. Passing gas is always funny.
It was a great shot.
God's greatest
and a great fart.
That and platypus.
Yeah.
Two of God's greatest things.
It was it really came through on the mic. That was a strong. I mean, and he did wait until after he made contact, which I thought was very respectful.
Yeah. And another thing, I wasn't able to show Sam Burns highlights because of YouTube TV's software blocking, the thing. So that's annoying.
The Open Championship. They need to get They need to take 10 pages from the Masters Handbook on how to do your website because we can get every single shot.
They got the money.
Yeah.
Royal and Ancient RNA. Come on now.
The Masters.
Y'all got bread.
We could get every single shot on video of Sam Burns, regardless of how he's doing, because he didn't play that well at the Masters.
They got it of everybody.
Yeah,
you in the field, they got a shot. Yeah. So
think about the TV dudes in the niche markets that have one guy out there representing like we do.
So
that's it.
My slight bit of broadcast criticism.
That's a good one though. I do enjoy that. Okay, mine is not a ticked off. Mine is, am I a bad guy? All right.
First off, I'll say no, but go ahead.
Well, am I a bad guy? I had this realization today during the 3 o'clock show. Mm-hmm. We run the back to school.
Monday, July 21st.
Yeah. And I got this joy that all of those kids, they see that on screen and it's like, uh-oh, it's coming back. And it's this joy of like, I don't have to deal with that feeling anymore. I just work 365 days out of the year. Take that, kids.
No.
Enjoy school.
It's a perfectly valid feeling when they're talking about final exams and last days.
Oh, I feel so great.
I empathize, but it's like, man, I ain't got to do that no more.
Like, oh, man.
Or I don't have to do that anymore.
Granted, we got to deal with a lot. Like, we got to deal with a lot more crap.
Bills and taxes and all of that, but like...
Take a win. I'm taking a win. I don't have to worry about back to school. Now, ironically, we kind of do.
Yeah.
Because that means football.
Yeah.
But there's the back to school. I'm freaking out. But why did
so you're not taking joy in their suffering.
I kind of am.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not a bad guy, but a little schadenfreude.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like taking joy in other people's misery.
Yeah.
A little schadenfreude. I don't know.
Well, it's like, get back to work, kids. I hope the summer was fun. You know what I did this summer? Worked. Took a week off. Well, 2 weeks. Went to Arizona.
You're not a bad guy.
Thank
you. Just kind of mean sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is going to be a long episode, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Football is so back. By the time we talk next week, we will at least have gone out to a couple or one school maybe.
So this is airing on Wednesday. I will be at Birds, CE Bird, Fighting Yellow Jackets, year 101.
Are they the Fighting Yellow Jackets, or are they just...
I'll call them the Fighting Yellow Jackets for the purposes of right now. But,
all right, we'll make sure to reference that later in the year. So, so we're going to get out. We got our countdown to Friday Football Fever cooking right now.
Yeah.
We're going to get out to schools. We're going to be hitting the road the next month. 17th, I believe, is the start date for those stories. I think that's what we said, August 17th. So we got a little less than a month. That's scary.
I know the first fever's on the 29th.
Yeah, and then 12 days before that would be the 17th. So yes, so the countdown is coming. We are going to begin shooting that this week. Hope you join us for the ride. We're still going to keep doing Benchwarmers. Yeah. Probably, it's going to be different in some capacity, just because of the time constraints.
Yeah.
But we're going to worry about all that. Y'all don't worry about that. We're going to worry about that. So thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks again to Doug Ireland. Next week, we're going to talk a little Louisiana Tech. We'll see you then.